And hello everyone, welcome. We've got Bob Dick on the line.
Hello.
And I'm Andrew Rickson, and together we're recording a series of pop-up conversations exploring the connection between open space technology and action learning. And these are about a workshop that Bob and I are running in April here in Melbourne on the 12th and 13th. Each pop-up convo has been stimulated by a quote, and the quote for this pop-up conversation is one by Peter Drucker, and he says, "Accept the fact that we have to treat almost anybody as a volunteer." And for me, I guess the reason I chose this quote, Bob, is that with regards to open space, it runs on passion and responsibility, and in fact, the idea of volunteering is kind of built in the sense that people are invited. No one has to come, and in fact a lot of the communications around the invitation is around an invitation, inviting people to come. And then on the day people are invited to raise topics that they care about. And so for me, I think there's a connection around Daniel Pink's recent book around drive and what is it that really motivates people. And he talks about mastery, autonomy, and purpose. And that's motivation 3.0 as opposed to the old forms, which was either survival or carrot and stick. How about for you, Bob? What's in this quote for you?
It fits the action learning part of the workshop we do together as well. There isn't the same imperative in the action learning literature about making sure that you do have volunteers, but in all of my experience, if you don't do that, the action learning team doesn't function anywhere near as well. And so, as you know, the style of action learning that we deal with in our workshop is one where a number of action learning teams are set up to pick up the projects that emerge from the open space technology, and each of those action learning teams consists of a small number of diverse people, each of whom really wants their project to work well. So they're volunteers in Peter Drucker's sense, and they're enthusiastic volunteers. And I think that's important because if they really want the project to happen, if they really want it to work well, then it doesn't matter if they run into a few roadblocks early on, they will find ways around the roadblocks. Whereas if you're working with non-volunteers, the chances are that at the first roadblock they throw up their hands in horror and say, oh, well, what silly idiot chose this for us? That's right.
Yeah. The other connect for me, Bob, is your framework on action learning, where you talk about 3 principles of freedom within limits, support and challenge. Would you like to just quickly talk around that and the connect?
Yes, I would. And whenever I'm working on a change program, I find it really helpful if I give people specific processes, but also give them some principles. And in a sense, the principles are more important than the process. The process just acts as an example, because if they think they have to follow the process as a recipe, then once again, the danger is that they'll give up when they run into a roadblock. Whereas if they understand the principles, they say, okay, that didn't work. What do we have to do to reassert the principles?
Yeah.
And the importance of challenge is that people have to think this is something that's worth doing, and it has to be enough of a stretch for them that they have to lift their energy a bit to engage with it. But they're most likely to do that when they know it's their responsibility to make this work, and they're most likely to hang in through the difficult bits when they know they have a lot of support. And so once again, I think there's a good parallel between open space in that respect and between the style of action learning that you and I use.
That's great, Bob. And there we have it, the next Pop-Up Convo kickoff starter for this particular quote. Bob and I look forward to chatting with you soon. See you, Bob.
See you, Andrew.